the floor kept shining and the bass line proved. He was not the darkness, he was not the night. He was just a shadow running from the light. I saw him in the corner trying to play it cool, but fear looks funny when it breaks its own rule. He said, don't dance. I said, too late. He said, stay scared. I said, checkmate. He said, I own you. I said, not me. Then the whole room turned and we started to see mirror ball boogeyman spinning in the light. Mirror ball boogeyman, you don't own tonight. You were tall in the dark, but small on the floor. Mirror ball boogeyman, we don't run no more. Boogeyman under the lights. Boogeyman, not tonight. Tonight. Maybe he's a rumor dressed in gold. Maybe he's a story we were always told. Maybe he's a warning with a pretty face. Maybe he's the pressure trying to take up space. Maybe he's the boss man counting every move. Maybe he's the old fear trying to kill the groove. Maybe he's the voice that says don't try, but the truth walked in with platform shoes on high. He said, don't shine. I said, watch me. He said, you'll fall. I said, we'll see. He said, I made you. I said, you lied. Then the strings came in and the room replied, mirror ball boogeyman spinning in the light. Mirror ball boogeyman, you don't own tonight. You were tall in the dark, but small on the floor. Mirror ball boogeyman, we don't run no more. Boogeyman under the lights. Boogeyman, not tonight. Under the bed, nothing there. Inside the closet, empty air. Behind the curtain, just a name. Fear wore sequins and played the game. But when the rhythm hit the truth, the lie got loose. The lie got loose. Who made him big? We did, we did. Who made him loud? Who turned the light? We did, we did. Who owns tonight? We do, we do. Mirror ball boogeyman spinning in the light. Mirror ball boogeyman, you don't own tonight. You were tall in the dark, but small on the floor. Mirror ball boogeyman, we don't run no more. Mirror ball boogeyman, take your final bow. Mirror ball boogeyman, we can see you now. Boogeyman under the lights. Boogeyman, not tonight. Shine on the fear, shine on the light, shine on the shadow till the shadow runs dry. Move with the truth, step with the plan, dance right past the boogeyman. Mirror ball, boogeyman falls when the people stand tall. Mirror ball, we saw the strings. Now you don't scare us at all.
Hey everybody, my name is William Rochelle. This is UBU Live, and you can call me Bill. And I am here today with Lisa. Lisa was backstage with me, and I said, I never really talk to my people before they come on because this is how I get to know people. And she said, no pressure. But it's not. It's not. The real, I think, gold is that it's not a scripted conversation.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to throw you under the table. There will be no gotcha moments. But there's so much that I don't know. And I think men in general don't know about the subject of menopause.
Yeah.
And I believe I heard you say at one point that men have something similar. I'm not sure if you did or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did. Okay, good.
Yeah. I did.
And it is the swings, the different things that happen within the female's body that a lot of people just don't understand
Yeah.
in general. I mean, let's take away menopause, right? And let's just talk about, you know, even after having a child, you know, the
Yeah.
hormones
Anything related to women's health.
yeah, are
Kind of
flipping up
clueless.
and down.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of men understand that, number one. And the second part is I don't think that a lot of men know how to um, approach it.
Yeah.
So, you know, if someone's in a bad mood, you can't ask them because you'll get your head cut off, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't. Because if I'm in a bad mood, you're not going to ask me that, you
Right.
know. So it's how do we support you? And I'm not talking about Lisa. I'm talking about women in our lives that we love and care about. And I'm going to start with this. I remember this as a young child. Um, my mother said that her mom spent about 5 or 6 years of her life laying in bed, and she was really mean, and no one wanted to approach her. And as I think about that today, I'm thinking because my grandmother had my mom at 30, right?
Yeah.
So when my mom was 10, my grandmother was probably 40,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. So was that 5 years really that she was mean, or was she really going through something that they didn't have a name for at that period,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So what is menopause?
So I was listening to your story and I was thinking, 5 years, that's actually short because it lasts much longer than that. So
Yeah, it
5 years
probably was.
uh, but menopause, many women don't actually understand everything to do with menopause. And I think that's the challenge. So, yes, men don't know how to support their partners, their friends, their colleagues, but there's still a lot of misinformation. So, women themselves don't know what they're going through, don't know about all these symptoms, don't know how to support themselves. So, even to have that conversation, women don't know where to start. And their doctors are clueless as well because they don't get that training. So, it's something that I'm happy that you have me on the show to talk about it, bring awareness, because that's what I do day in, day out. So menopause actually lasts one day. And that's the first thing women and men are very confused about. Menopause lasts one day.
Wait, and now I'm really confused. so so the actual transformation occurs in a day.
So the medical fraternity, healthcare, we like to label things because that's how we can diagnose better, when we could define things. So menopause is defined as you have gone 12 straight months without having a menstrual cycle. So you go through your 12 months, no menstrual cycle. The very next day after that, you're in menopause for one day. And the very next day after that, for the rest of your life, you're in postmenopause. And the period before the 12 months, when you're still having a menstrual cycle, whether you're skipping months or it's heavy, it's like whatever it is, once you're seeing a menstrual cycle or you're having a period, that's perimenopause. So there are 3 stages. I know the internet likes to say 4 stages and say premenopause. Premenopause, pre means before. So that's actually a puberty. So we really shouldn't count that. It starts at perimenopause. You're still having a menstrual cycle, but you're starting to see symptoms. It could last anything from 1 year to 10, 15 years. Then you go through your 12 months, and it must be 12 months as it stands right now. So if you're in that 11th month, and I've had clients like that, they're in the 11th month, they're counting down the days, and then they see their period, they have to start all over from day one and go 12 months again. Very next day is menopause, 1 day, and then the next day after that, for the rest of your life in postmenopause. But in postmenopause, you can still see symptoms. So you can be in your 70s, 80s, and still having hot flashes, still having those debilitating symptoms. So there's no end to menopause. There may be a reduction in symptoms that affects your quality of life. But by the time you hit 30, you're in menopause for it. That's it for you.
So isn't it getting later in life, menopause? Because I'm seeing you guys. I get all my news from TV. So I'm
Okay.
seeing Kim Kardashian and Janet Jackson and Holly Berry having kids at 60 years old. So is that target moving, or are um, they have to still be
So
producing eggs? I mean, so
yeah. And you could be producing eggs because you're on medication. Lifestyle has a lot to do with it. Genetics has a lot to do with it. But I would say menopause is actually starting earlier in life and not later. So the menopausal journey from perimenopause to postmenopause, that journey is actually either starting earlier, or because we have more information on it, we're noticing things earlier. So you're talking about your grandmother where we didn't have that information. So she could have started much earlier with symptoms that she wasn't aware belonged to menopause and just didn't know. And we just focused on the mood swings or the hot flashes or things that we are accustomed to. But I have clients in their 20s starting menopause, and that's natural menopause.
so what does menopause have to do with childbearing years?
So menopause is linked to your hormones.
Okay.
So before your menopausal journey, your hormonal levels, especially your estrogen and your progesterone, and to a lesser effect testosterone, they're quote unquote normal. So they're high when they're supposed to, low when they're supposed to be. So it's easier to conceive because your body is going through natural stages. But when you're entering into perimenopause, estrogen is fluctuating and decreasing. And is and menopause is seen as a reproductive thing, but estrogen is actually important for all aspects of your body and your bodily functions. And gosh, I think my camera has menopause as well, so it's starting to glitch. I'm sorry if I just cut out. Just you see it, and
You're
I'm
fine.
where have I gone?
I don't know, but we can still hear you.
Oh my goodness! Hold on, let me try that again.
My camera's going through menopause.
Listen, I don't know. It was fine, and then all of a sudden, okay, I am
It
back.
started flashing.
And now people are seeing my background, which I don't
It's
want them
okay.
to. Oh my God.
I painted on my beard today. How's it look?
Yep. And
So, guys, this is live, proving that it's live. Um, so, what questions do you guys out there have about menopause? And I think really what I want to know is, it are women do women want to hide the fact that they're in menopause, or is it does it have a negative connotation to it, or you know? And then what about the women that have worked all their careers in their mid 30s and they want to have children, and then menopause kind of creeps up on them? How does that affect their ability to conceive? And what happens if you conceive during menopause? And then does that affect postpartum? All of these are great questions. And when Lisa returns, we are going to get the answers to each and every one of them. But while she's out, I have a book that I released this weekend. I am in heaven right now. I'm ecstatic about it. I am overwhelmed by what Christy did to surprise me on my birthday. I'm overwhelmed with how she got so many people out there to come to join the event. And I haven't looked at the book sales yet. I don't know. So I'm going to wait a week. And right now, I'm literally today after this going to focus on um, doing the SEO and the GEO to promote it. So I didn't do any of that. I didn't like get my A plus content for my the A plus content for my author page yet. So I'm doing all of that right now. So just wait. And if anyone listens to the intro, which is going to be my outro, it's all about the boogeyman this week. And so the beginning of it, if you looked at it, was me sleeping and my dog trying to wake me up, and then I roll over. I go into a dream state, and that's how the mirror ball boogeyman, that type of uh, that came about. So really, I was dreaming. My dog tries to wake me up. I'm sleeping. My dog tries to wake me up, and that's why you can hear him at first, and then all of a sudden the stars start going because that is my dream state. So anyway, did you hear any of my great questions I had for you, Lisa?
I heard them, but I can't remember them.
Okay, so
And I can't
I,
even remember what I was talking about.
you know what? I've looked for I've looked for my remote like 10 times today, and I was so worried because my television was blasting, and so this is actually not my TV remote. This is the sound remote for the sound
Oh,
system. So I still can't find my remote.
yeah.
Um, so my question, I have several questions. I'll throw them out there, and then you catch whichever one resonates with you the most. So the first one is there a stigma amongst women when they go through menopause? Is it something
Okay.
that they're ashamed of, or is it something that they just understand it's just a natural part of life right now? And then
Mhm.
how does that affect? Uh, I'm sure you could still get pregnant while you're going through the
Through
pre.
perimenopause, yes.
And so what happens after the 14th month and you get pregnant? I'm sure that's happened at least once, right? I mean,
Yeah, I've had a client that she was counting down her 12 months, so still seeing her period, and they got pregnant. So she was having pregnancy symptoms and perimenopause symptoms at the same time.
and what does that do to the to the not only the
Uh,
bottle but the mental
yeah,
health?
it was very challenging to see, to put it mildly. It required a lot of coaching just to get through those first few months until her body sort of settled. Because it's very confusing. Estrogen, I was saying, estrogen is important for many of our body's functions. So the reason why we get so many symptoms, and there are over 100 symptoms, there are about 130. The internet only talks about 40 of them. So I've had clients with 60, 70 symptoms at the same time. So you start feeling as if you're losing your mind. And here I am glitching again. God, Lord.
Don't touch anything. I
Um,
can't see that you're glitching.
okay. Yeah, so you literally feel as if you're losing yourself, losing your mind. If you go test many times, your blood tests come back normal. So your doctor chalks it up to stress, gives you antidepressive pills or anxiety pills or something like that. But that isn't the real cause of what's going on. So you start feeling as if no one understands what's going on, that you don't understand what's going on, you're going crazy. You're you come back and you tell your partner, well, okay, the doctor says everything is normal. So he's watching you like, well, why are you like this? Don't you care about our relationship anymore? So he starts to have questions about your commitment to the relationship and to him. So it can be a very challenging, a very lonely time for women. And what was the first question you asked me?
Is it something that
The
women
stigma, right?
look at as, oh my God, I can't believe I'm too young for this? Or is it something that women are just like, yeah, I'm going through it?
Um,
Or does it depend on whether or not they've had children yet? Like there's all these
it
factors.
depends a lot on what country they're in and what they have access to. So because so many celebrities you were mentioning, like Halle Berry, and because so many celebrities, especially Oprah, because they're talking about it, when Oprah speaks, the world listens. So that did a lot to normalize that conversation, to know, okay, the people we look up to, idolize, whatever word you want to use, they are also going through it. So, okay, I'm not alone. This is not something that is just me, it's the world going through it. And most women, once you hit 30, you start seeing symptoms. It may not be debilitating to your quality of life yet, but when I start going through things, they're like, oh, wait, this happened to me and that happened to me. And I thought the bruise on my leg was me hitting something and not remembering, or the toothache I had that kept reoccurring, or the earache, or the loss of hair. I thought that was something else, or I wasn't eating properly or sleeping properly, and that was the cause. And not understanding or realizing that no, you actually started your menopausal journey and didn't know it. Because you didn't know that, you weren't supporting your body in the right way, and it just starts to progress. In the Caribbean, where I'm from Trinidad and Tobago, it's still very taboo to talk about. It is getting better within the last, let's say, 3 to 5 years. We have had an explosion of conversations, which is good. But women, especially women of color, we're expected to keep going no matter what's got you down. We pick ourselves up and we do what we need to do, support everybody else. And I'm sure it's for that for most women, but I've heard this a lot. Black women, they're strong black woman, that term. So to complain or say, okay, I am having challenges or I need support or I can't do this, those words can't leave a woman's mouth because you're seen as weak, you're not performing your duties, you're not being a good mom, you're not being a good wife, a good colleague, so
But
there's still,
let's clarify that though.
yeah,
So there's the woman and there's the black woman.
yeah,
And those journeys are literally different.
yeah,
There's mental health and there's men's mental health and there's black men's mental health.
yeah.
Um, because writing with Nick on a mental health book,
Hmm.
and it's because I'm a black man, and in our homes, we're taught to push things down
Yep. Not
and
talk about
to
it in
not talk
public.
about it.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm nobody in my family speaks to me anymore because I'm just so like, you know what, forget it. I can't live my life pretending like nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
So can you, because I've done it many times,
Mhm.
explain the difference between the woman's journey and then the black woman's journey and why that's happened? And the black woman
So,
deserves to take her cape off sometimes, or women of color.
yeah. So I guess because I'm in the Caribbean and well, Trinidad and Tobago is unique where we're mixed race, multiracial. So I have 6 ethnicities, right? Although we may look a certain way, we have those genetical backgrounds. So I'm not discounting the woman's journey at all. We all have the same challenges. But when it comes to women of color and just people of color, the way they're perceived by the healthcare system is different, what they have access to is different. And it's something that we must acknowledge because we need to find the solutions for that. There are reasons those things exist. And it doesn't make sense burying your head in the sand and saying, well, we all have access to the same thing, or, everybody is challenged by something. Yes, but we must also acknowledge that the way we speak about certain people, their characteristics, it brings certain challenges or extra challenges. So we see it here in the Caribbean that women must be strong. You know, we're the head of the household, we take care of everyone, and complaining about anything or even taking time off to go to the doctor. We don't make time for that. We'll schedule the children, the partners, visits. We don't even schedule our own. We don't to take time for ourselves, even to do our hair or nails. You know, we have to like find ways, schedule it and beg for time off or whatever it is, or at least give ourselves permission to want it. So even that is a challenge. So yes, dealing with someone from, let's say, America, a white woman from America, the way I will coach her will be a lot different to a woman of color from the same area, because the challenges, the mindset, everything is different. But that's what makes this so challenging and unique, because every woman's journey is different. We start at different times, and it depends on so many things. And if you're walking around with 60, 70 symptoms, how do you even get yourself out of bed to have a bath or to have a meal? It can be really challenging, but it's because I experienced it in my 30s and I didn't get that support, and I didn't start with the normal symptoms. So I sounded very crazy when I kept going back to the dentist for a toothache that there was no problem with my teeth. He'll watch me like,
So,
why are you back?
what was the issue if there was no problem with your tooth?
It was menopause.
So, it was a nerve issue?
So, all right, so let me
Sorry.
explain. No, that's okay. That's okay. Okay, so estrogen, like I said, estrogen affects many of our body's symptoms. There's something along our bodies called receptors. Let me explain it in terms of insulin, because that's easier for people to visualize. So when we eat, your body breaks down the food in your stomach, it gets absorbed in your intestines, and your blood sugar goes up. That's the normal reaction. Insulin is released from the pancreas, and insulin is a hormone. A hormone is a chemical messenger that tells the body what to do. So insulin is released, and it takes blood sugar around and tells the cell, hey, I have sugar here. Sugar is needed for you to do work. Do you need sugar? The cell says yes. So the insulin sits on a receptor on the cell. So there's a lock and key mechanism. So the cell has a receptor, the insulin comes in, unlocks the cell, sugar goes in, and that's its job. It's telling the body, okay, we have sugar, you need sugar, take the sugar. Insulin is the chemical messenger telling the body what to do. In that same regard, estrogen is a receptor, chemical messenger hormone, telling the body what to do. But estrogen is important for so many functions, for hair growth, for how your brain operates, for temperature regulation, digestive issues, everything. So that's why we get so many symptoms. Because if we don't have enough estrogen, because it's dropping, we don't have enough of those messengers to tell the body what to do. So it just does what it wants. So that's why there's so many symptoms. That's why one woman could have digestive issues, and another woman could have itchy ears, and another woman could have 10 symptoms that aren't any of those. Make sense?
It does. I think what most men hear about would be mood swings.
Because that's what affects them the most. Yeah.
Right. The aggressive, or it's either really aggressive or really depressive.
Yeah.
And it's one or the other. And then we all know about the hot flashes, right?
Yeah.
So we understand. We might not understand it, but we can relate to
But
it.
yeah, you know about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what? And I can mentally understand that if my hair was thinning or my nails were thinning, how that would how that would impact
Right.
my self-esteem.
Yeah.
So you're dealing with a self-esteem issue, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Um, you're dealing with the fact that just like everybody else, we are aging,
Yeah.
and sometimes that's hard because we're running through life in our 20s and 30s, and all of a sudden, you know, we take we step off the step wrong and we've broken our ankle,
Yep.
or or we're limping and we're like,
Yeah.
I could have jumped off the top step years ago, and now
And
I
nothing. Yeah.
accidentally I accidentally missed the last one, and I'm like out for a week.
Yeah.
Um, what do you think impacts each person's different,
Yeah.
right? So everybody has a different level of
Hmm.
what they value in life.
Right.
What do you think impacts most women
Hmm.
the most? And then what impacts the people around them the most?
Yeah.
Because I would assume those two things are different.
It can be. So you talked about it being a reproductive issue at the beginning. And for the most part, that's where it starts. So you may not choose to have children, but being told one day that you can no longer have children affects you. Because now my body has taken away my choice, and I could be in my 30s. I'm not ready for that yet. So that first hits you and it affects you mentally, because it means I am no longer a viable woman. My husband may see me differently. I start having, confidence issues, libido issues. I don't want to be touched. I'm having those mood swings and all the other symptoms that makes me look like I've woken up one day and as I'm a different person totally. And the person that my partner has married, he no longer recognizes. So that in itself affects us emotionally and mentally. But then you have the aging part, where all of us are going through that aging. And I saw I saw gray hair, long gray hairs on my scalp, and I was like mortified. I'm like, why? What is going on? And I understand menopause, right? I know what's going on, but just I'm human too, and just seeing it is like, God, why am I aging? I'm too young for this. So we have that aspect. But then you have on top of that the hormones not being controlled. And we have these little voices now telling us, you can't do this. You're not good enough. You have situations where I can't remember how to get to work. I've driven the same routes every day and I can't remember how to get there. I've had clients call me saying they don't know where the taxi stand is. What taxi stand do I need to go to get home? They've done it in their sleep. They could do it in their sleep and they can't remember.
And
That
that
is
has
how,
nothing to do with uh,
that's the hormones.
it has
The
nothing to do
hormones
with
are doing it.
dementia or anything
No.
like that.
But it starts to feel like that, especially when your doctor says everything is okay.
Right.
So you
Right.
actually start to feel like you're getting dementia,
Okay.
not knowing it's your hormones fluctuating and it's you're entering into your menopausal journey.
So you said something that struck me.
Mm.
So a woman's viability is determined about, in some people, whether or not they can have children.
I think society sees that when we're young and we get more attention from men, we feel more confident. And I've had many women experience this. And for the women in online, please let me know if that's happened, or if you experience this. When we're younger, we get more attention. Now that we're older, we don't get the same attention. So we're
But
walking down the road and we're not getting the same attention. So that in itself sends these messages that we're no longer seen as attractive or viable. And I'm not talking, you could be looking great, but the attention you get when you're younger is much different.
well, I think
And then,
that's for all of us. I mean, ain't nobody coming for me these days.
yeah, but men are seen to age like fine wine versus Yeah, okay, don't even try, okay? But when men get gray hair, they aren't seen the same way as a woman getting gray hair. It's not the same.
Got you.
You know, and you check on social media and it's the same thing. Look at the how men are celebrated on in Hollywood. They get the same roles. For women, you move from teenager in a high school show to somebody's mom to somebody's grandmother to you're lucky if you're getting work.
Yeah, yeah, and well, if we're talking about Hollywood, they will put a 30-year-old woman with Harrison Ford, who's like 80, and that's supposed to be his love interest.
Yeah, and that's
Uh,
supposed to be normal, right?
yeah,
So
it's crazy.
yeah, and they have the money to spend on themselves and make themselves look great. We normal people, we don't have that access. So all of those things play on us because we're seeing the same social media shows and we're scrolling through TikTok and all of those things subconsciously that it's hitting us. And we're beginning to realize that because we can't have children, we're not viable anymore. We're not seen as women who could give back to society, give to our community, give to our household anymore. So all of those things affects our confidence and we start getting anxiety and depression and many women actually get suicidal thoughts from that interaction and from the fluctuating hormones.
Right.
So just the fluctuating hormones can trigger suicidal thoughts. And if you don't know it's the hormones doing it and you don't get the support you need, so most times the best support is hormone replacement therapy, the medication that you could take to put back the hormones. If you don't have that or don't have access to that, so in the Caribbean, we don't have access to many forms of HRT. So we're left struggling, not understanding what's going on in our bodies, or doctors dismissing what we're going through, or families saying just, we went through menopause, just go through it, it's normal part of life. So you're not getting support from the places you're supposed to get it from, and then you're not understanding what's going on. So it can be a really challenging time if you don't know what's going on.
So, what is male menopause?
Right. So in the same way that we have decreasing hormones in the female, mostly estrogen and progesterone, and to a lesser extent testosterone, because we do have it, we do need it. For men, there's a decline in testosterone, and you get the exact same symptoms. So men get hot flashes, they have the mood swings. So 98% of the symptoms women get, men will get. The difference is it's a steady decline. So it's easier to track, it's easier to pick up. So the man can go to the doctor, let's say in January, test their hormone levels, go back a month later, and there's a decrease. It doesn't fluctuate like women. So it's easier to pick up once the man allows himself to think, okay, something is wrong and I need to get it checked. So the challenge with men most of the time is that they don't want to see a doctor, right? They don't want, most men, and this is not just black men, this is men in general. They don't want to see a doctor, dentist, any sort of healthcare person. They rather suffer in silence or chew some Advil or whatever it is until it gets to a point where there's no turning back. They have to go, right? But the reason I speak about it is because if our partners recognize something is going wrong with the man, and I've had clients where they were going through menopause and the partner was going through male menopause as well. So it was not a pretty picture.
That has to be horrible.
It was horrible. Yeah. But once they were open and curious to know what was going on with them and not see it as some sort of failure on their part, we're going for information. Once they were open to that, they were able to pick it up, do the blood tests, and get the help they needed.
So let's take you out of the Caribbean for just a second,
Mhm.
because that really is a special
Yeah.
a specific spot globally.
Yeah.
Are there better remedies for men than there are for, well, there's not a remedy, but better therapies for
Mm,
men than there are for women. Because I feel like women have not, most medical procedures have been tested and geared towards the male body,
yeah, yeah,
and even with ED and everything else, they're going to pass it through and it'll be free,
yeah,
you know,
yes,
for the men. But women, they don't get that same type of
right.
support. So when it comes to the diagnosis for a man and a diagnosis for a woman, are the treatments at this point both as accessible?
No, so it may be easier for a man. The challenge is our doctors aren't aware or aren't trained in menopause across the board. So to even recognize menopause in men, that is the challenge. I think if they could recognize it, pick it up, do the blood tests, they get the support. The problem is, in the same way you didn't know there was male menopause, doctors aren't aware of it. And it's because the system hasn't trained them in that. They have to specialize. But we're seeing more and more men have challenges with hormones. So it may not get to be as severe as menopause, but we all have challenges with our hormones and for different reasons, environment, lifestyle, diets. So I think once they get the support and they get the blood test done and get the results, it's easier for a man to get treatment. But it's to get him there and then hope that the doctor is trained in that and can pick it up.
So does that affect the man's sperm count, ability to reproduce?
Yeah, it does. Because in
Okay.
the same way it affects a woman's libido, it affects a man's libido, it affects his confidence. So it will be the same sort of thing. In the Caribbean, we don't have much research. We don't have much research in health across the board.
Right.
So even to talk about male menopause in the Caribbean, it's challenging because we don't have the data to say, okay, yes, it exists. But I think the bigger challenge for us, and maybe worldwide, is to get men accustomed to going to the doctor to have annual checkups. I
That's period. Yeah.
Yeah, I think once we could get to that point, then picking up things early would be better. So we don't need the research for that. We just need to find a way to get the behavior change to
So
get men to
how
get there.
did you, how did you connect diet to menopause? Like how did that occur?
So I went into whatever little research I could find, because back then I was in my 30s and there wasn't the type of research we have now. And there was a lot of trial and error on my part to figure out what was wrong with me. And then God made me a little more special than the average person, where all of my organs are upside down or not where it's supposed to be. So, my heart is on my right side, my stomach is inverted, the womb is inverted, everything is sort of all over the place. So, my I have extra challenges when it comes to my health. So, things don't affect me in the same way as I may give advice to my clients because I'm different. So it was a little challenging for me, but in doing the research, and a lot of it is out of the UK, so I must applaud the UK for leading the world in menopause research, menopause policy. I relied on a lot of their research to sort of piece together certain things, and then it's trial and error because every woman is different, and what works for one just wouldn't work for another. So that's where the coaching comes in, to walk that path with my clients to see what can be done, make sure she stays positive, because if it doesn't work, it's just information. We'll just try something else, to keep that sort of momentum. That's a challenge, but it's rewarding work.
So what do we stay away from as far as foods are concerned And what do we gravitate towards during this period?
So I wouldn't say stay away from anything,
Okay.
because telling people to stay away from something, that's when your brain says, no, no, you can't tell me what to do.
Right.
Now I want it. Now I crave it. What I invite people to do is, what do you get to have? What do you get to have more of? And to think of your life like a book. I think working with people like Nick and Annie has been that author frame of mind. So your life is like a book. What chapter are you in now?
Mm.
And the chapter I'm in now, eating fried chicken every day may not be the best choice
But
for
it's
my
good.
health condition, right? And I'm not saying not to have it, and I never tell people they can't have something. We find a way to work it into your diet, because nutrition isn't just about the protein and the vitamin D or whatever. It's not just about the nutrients. There's a mental health aspect to food. There's a social and cultural aspect to food. Especially in the Caribbean, we celebrate everything through food. We show
Yeah.
love through food. So I can't ethically, morally, just, I can't tell people stay away from anything, not have this. Because, especially for us, because we're so multicultural, we celebrate with each other through food.
Nice.
But we can work towards a plan where we say, okay, this month we'll focus on XYZ. Our favorites, let's say we have a favorite Starbucks drink. We keep it for as a treat or when we really need it for our mental health, because we're going to gravitate towards our favorite comfort food. But if we're gravitating towards it every day, then we need to pull back and say, okay, maybe that's not the best choice. I need to find another outlet for whatever is going on and keep it as a treat.
What's your favorite comfort food? I hope it's not Starbucks.
No, it's only we have Starbucks in Trinidad. But I really like their coffees. Nothing against them, it's just not my cup of tea. My favorite comfort food, we have something called roti, and we have something called
Roti.
doubles.
Okay, so what
So,
is roti? Is it like the fried?
so roti is like, let me see what you'll have. The closest thing might be a pita bread. So that's
Okay.
sort of thin, but ours is bigger and softer, curry powder, spices, lots of spices. And it's filled with curried potato, curried chickpeas, and lots of veggies and whatever meat you desire. Most of the times it's curried chicken. So it's very, very flavorful. We like our hot peppers. Trinidad has one of the hottest peppers in the world, the scorpion pepper. So we love our spicy food or flavorful, foods. So there's that. And then there's something called doubles, which is a street food. It was actually created here. It's similar to foods in India because we had East Indian indentureship laborers coming across. So a lot of our foods mimic what's seen in India, what's seen in Africa. But doubles are like two pieces of small flatbread. And it's filled with curry chickpeas and little veggies and peppers. So it's vegan. It's probably, and most people in Trinidad don't realize it's vegan because vegan food are like supposed to taste bad. But everybody that comes here, they come back for the doubles.
Really? Are
It,
you
it
are
is
you vegan?
That's good. No, I'm not.
Okay.
But I
No,
am plant
I
forward.
I
I
I, I
encourage whole
literally want
foods.
I really want Caribbean food right now. Um,
Listen, if you want the best food in the world, come to Trinidad.
is that an
I,
invite for us all, everybody?
for everybody, come during Carnival,
Okay.
right? I know people may be familiar with Brazil's Carnival. That's the biggest show, but we have the best show. We have the best music. People you don't know will feed you, will give you alcohol. You don't know them, and they will treat you like family. It is the best time.
Would you ever have you ever left and lived anyplace else?
No, and I probably won't.
Okay.
Trinidad is too nice. We have
Really?
beaches, we have the best people. Not that we don't have our issues like everywhere else, but there's something about the Caribbean, there's something about Trinidad and Tobago that, people they can move everywhere. They said they want to come back and die here. They can't wait to come back.
Nice.
I wouldn't live anywhere else.
What about the weather? Hurricanes and stuff like
So
that.
we are unique. We're the end of the Caribbean chain. We're very close to Venezuela. We're 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela, so very close. And they say God is a Trini. So hurricanes approach Trinidad and then suddenly do a upturn, and they hit the other islands and they miss Trinidad and Tobago every year. Tobago
Wow.
may get a little bit of it, but yeah, we haven't had a bad hurricane in I can't even tell you, because the hurricane will head towards us and then I move on.
Okay. Y'all are blessed.
God is a
So
Trini. So
God is a Trinity. So what's one thing that you would tell me? I have two daughters,
Mhm.
an ex-wife. Um, they're twins, so they're 34,
Okay, nice.
right? One grandson. How do I manage the fact that number one, my daughters are no longer 12.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting that.
Most
But
parents do.
but at the same time, they're going through their own life
Yeah.
and life issues.
Yeah.
And how do I be there for them without overstepping? And as a dad, guys out there, there was a time when you can ask your child anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I was in LA Christmas, my daughter's hair grew really, really long. And I said, "Do you have
Hmm.
a piece in?" And she was like, "Why would you ever ask a woman if she had a hair piece in?" And
Yeah.
no,
And
and
when
no,
you
I
said it, it's like,
don't.
oh my God. Why did you do that?
But I got slapped. I was like, I was complimenting it because I kind of thought it was hers, but and it was, but it
Mhm.
was so beautiful and perfect,
Yeah.
and so I keep stepping in things, and I think it has to do with. I don't think they're going. I don't know if they're going through it or not, but they're getting close to that age,
Yeah. Yeah.
and every 10 years there's a shift that seems for me dramatic, right?
Okay.
So how do you manage that as a parent, as a father? And then how do you manage it as a husband?
Yeah. So I think it's for your children, it depends on the relationship you have with them now, of course. Um, Maybe just if you're sitting over a cup of tea or dinner or whatever it is, just let them know that you've been talking to people, you've been hearing about menopause, and you're not asking them if they're going through anything, but just let them know you're here for them no matter what.
I would
So
get
no
cussed out.
matter, sorry?
I would get yelled at.
Well, okay, so well,
And
that's why I said it depends
we
on
have
the
a
relationship.
very close relationship. All of us, even me and my
Mhm.
ex-wife, have a very close
Okay,
relationship.
okay, great. Well,
But
maybe talk
they
to
would
her about it first.
right, they would talk to her. But if
Okay,
I
well,
brought
if
it up,
okay,
they'd be like, "Why are you asking me this?"
okay, well, if that is the case, then talk to your ex-wife about it. Say that you've been hearing a lot about it. You've had somebody on your show talking about it, and you just wanted to know what her experience is with it, or if she has someone she can talk to about it. Um, if she thinks her doctor will support her in the right way,
Hmm.
let her know that if she needs someone to go with her to a doctor's visit, you're there and you're open to it. So for me, and you've disappeared off my screen.
I did.
Yeah, so it could be my connection.
Can you
you're
guys see
you're back.
me?
You're back. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I think it really depends on the relationship you have with your partner, because I know people have been married for years and can't have that conversation. They don't have that sort of communication. But I always say, one, pick a time that is best for both of you, even if you have to schedule it. So you agree, okay, listen, I want to talk to you about something, maybe Sunday after lunch when nobody's rushing home from work, or we have chores to do, or children to drop to, whatever soccer practice or whatever it is, that we could find some time, maybe half an hour just to check in with each other.
Yeah.
And I think saying check in with each other is, very calming, and it doesn't say, well, okay, I think something is wrong with you, we need to talk about it. Right?
One of my children has very significant um, changes during her time.
Okay.
And I could see that she's having it, but I
Mhm.
can't say it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, no, please don't.
And then one day I'm driving down the street and I'm like, why is she yelling at me about pizza? And my other daughter calls and she goes, he's getting on my nerves. And also I think I'm like pre whatever. I'm about to whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I heard that, I thought it,
yeah,
but I couldn't say it. But
yeah,
she had
yeah,
no problem saying it in front of me, but she would not say it to me.
yeah, yeah.
It's a very interesting dynamic, and I think it's one of the landmines that we as human beings need to figure out. How do we not step in it, but how do we approach it
Yeah.
at the same time? That's the $1 billion question.
Yeah, and everybody is so different. It could be really challenging. But I say take the path of least resistance. So if you have that good relationship with your ex, and you can approach it from there, because if you're having challenging times during puberty or your menstrual cycle, you're probably going to have even more challenging times when you start menopause. So
Okay.
it could be something she needs to look into from now, changing her diet or talking to a doctor about, maybe if she's on medication, changing it, or going on HRT early, so maybe take it from the point of, I've noticed some changes with our daughters, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention so you could talk to them about it, because I've been hearing so much about menopause on my show or on the internet, whatever it is. And, it'd be nice if you have a conversation with them, because I know you have that, closeness with them. You're
Yeah.
accustomed talking about things, maybe.
It's women things. I think that's what
Yeah,
they go to her for that.
yeah, yeah.
HRT is human replacement therapy, right?
Hormone replacement therapy.
Sorry, I got it
Yeah,
wrong. And
yeah.
how does that work? It makes the body think that it's pregnant, or
No,
I've heard the
so
different things.
so as I said, the estrogen and progesterone are decreasing. To a lesser extent, testosterone. For some women, it's the testosterone it's giving the problem. So if you're having a lot of libido issues, it could be the testosterone that needs to be checked. If you're having a menstrual cycle still, it's not advisable to check those hormones because it's fluctuating wildly. But you can check for other things. So check your thyroid and check other things to make sure that's okay, because those things could also give menopausal symptoms. But if, let's say, you've gone through 12 months, you're in menopause, you're in postmenopause now, and you're still having lots of hot flashes or mood swings or any symptom that's debilitating to you, that is when I would say check your doctor, see if hormone replacement therapy is right for you. Sometimes, well, most times we diagnose perimenopause from symptoms, not from blood tests. So if you're having the symptoms, talk to your doctor about going on hormone replacement therapy as well. It could be just the estrogen you need, or you need a combination of estrogen and progesterone. For the US and the UK, they have access to many forms of it. So there's a patch that you could stick on to your stomach or your leg. There are gels you could rub on. There are pellets you could insert under the skin. There's vaginal estrogen. There's oral estrogen. So there are different types. Different types work for different women depending on what you need. Sometimes the gel just doesn't work for you and the patch works better. But you have to give it 3 months to see if it works for you. The unfortunate thing is it's 3 months of extra symptoms. So many women experience digestive issues, nausea, migraines. So it's added symptoms on top of the ones you already have. So sometimes it could get really challenging to go through those 3 months with extra symptoms to get to a point to see if that's the right medication for you. And if it's not, you have to start all over. Some women choose not to do that. Some women can't go on those medications because they have liver disease or certain types of breast cancer or heart disease. They don't have an option because it will make things worse. That's where your lifestyle choices comes in, and that's where I try to support women. So I support women who choose to take the medications or not, but I really support those who choose not to or can't because they don't have another option. So that's where we work on those lifestyle changes to see what again will work best for you. But I will always suggest talk to your doctor and see if HRT is right for you. It is the best solution for your menopausal symptoms, hands down.
So I have 2 last questions, and you can tell me if it's you don't want to answer the first one.
I will answer.
I've heard some friends say that when they're going through the menopause, that intercourse is not pleasurable for them anymore.
Yeah.
In fact, it can be sometimes painful.
Yep.
Okay. Is there a solution for that? Because if we can, if a man can take a blue pill to do his thing, then have we discovered anything that helped women, or is that still something that's not out there?
No, so there are medications that could help. Sometimes it could be as simple as adding extra lubrication because the area does get very dry. We don't produce enough liquid or fluid. Sorry, liquid is a bad word. Fluid. So it could be as simple as that, or some other type of medication that could help. But there's a physical aspect to it where it could be painful to the point of bleeding. And there's an emotional aspect and a mental aspect to it as well, where touching me feels painful. So, like, literally touching me feels painful.
By him or just by anyone?
Maybe both. It depends because we are emotional creatures.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to separate it. But just being around them. So I've had clients, and I've said it on my show, just them breathing too loudly, I want a divorce. Or them clipping their nails, I want a divorce, I'm sure I want a divorce. So to move from that mindset and understand, okay, it's the hormones doing that to you, to get to a point where I'm actually feeling intimate with that person, it's a journey. So it's to have that conversation with your partner so that they know it's not that you don't feel attractive to them or you don't love them anymore, but the hormones are doing this to me where it is physically uncomfortable for you to touch me right now. There are other options to explore with intimacy. And those are conversations that either, if you have a good relationship, you have with your partner, but if you need support, sometimes a third party helps because the partner needs to understand, again, what menopause is, what it does, these types of symptoms. And a bigger concern is it also raises your risk for type 2 diabetes and heart disease.
Menopause.
Yeah. So having those things also affects everything else as well. And your risk actually goes up higher than a man's risk once you're in menopause. So there are many aspects So a woman may come to me with hot flashes or mood swings, but I have to look at everything else because everything is interconnected.
Is the journey back easy or difficult for the couple? And I guess what I'm asking is, a lot of times if you're not being intimate and you don't want the person to touch you and you haven't addressed what the root cause of it is,
Yeah,
it's going to end up in clash.
yeah, yeah.
So how many people don't make it over that hill? How many people walk through the valley together and get to the other side?
Yeah.
I know you don't have a real number for me, but
No,
like,
I know. But divorce rates are highest around menopause. So they haven't linked it directly to menopause yet. But we know around the age of menopause, 40 to 55, that is the time divorce rates are highest. It's also the time suicidal rates are highest. I don't think it's a coincidence that it's around menopausal, your menopausal journey. But this is where sometimes going to a third party helps. But it's hard because if your doctor is saying everything is okay, you wouldn't know to turn to someone else. And this is why I talk about menopause as much as I can to let women know that we do have solutions, but you have to be open to it. Go back to the place of why did I marry this person? Sometimes we are with the wrong partner. And menopause can bring clarity. It can bring that sort of enlightenment where we decide what we want for the rest of our lives. So women change jobs or get a second job that they're actually happier with. And they do change partners because they realize they've been taking a lot for so long and they've gotten to the point where they're not interested in taking the crap anymore,
right,
right?
right.
But
They
if
found
you do,
themselves.
yes, they found that they understand themselves better. But if this is the person you want to be with, then I think you owe it to yourself to have that conversation and be open to having that conversation. And if your partner is willing to have that conversation, because sometimes they're not, they want to move on to someone younger or whatever it is, right? If you both are open to that, then it is challenging but not difficult.
There's so many questions that I have that are not going to fit into an hour because as we talk about all of this, the other part comes, as you talk to your clients, is there a intimacy component that you have to include in your
Yeah,
conversation?
I
Okay.
don't just counsel the client, I counsel her family.
Okay.
Because we're not in a bubble, we affect everyone else around her. So I start with the client, yes, but depending on what she says, I would suggest, okay, bring your partner on the next call or bring
how
your children on the next call.
how important is intimacy to a successful marriage? I have friends that have said,
Mm.
my wife and I haven't done anything in 9 months. I'm like, okay, that's
So
interesting.
intimacy isn't sex.
Okay.
So you can find connection through other avenues. But if you're not having physical sex, then you need to have that conversation. Why? Maybe not right now. Maybe we need to wait until the medication kicks in, the hormone replacement therapy. Maybe we need to find different ways of doing things. So I don't want to get too graphic, but we need to think outside the box a little bit. But again, if you're willing to have the conversation and be open and honest about it, and reassure the person that it's not them, it's not that I don't love them anymore, but the hormones are doing this to me. I can't help it. It's a medical thing now. So I need a medical intervention. I need a lifestyle intervention. I need you to be patient. But again, have the conversation what needs to be met, what needs do you have that you need met? Because both persons will have certain needs to be met. And whatever is important to you, you have that open conversation and you work towards it. Like everything else, marriage is hard, life is hard. It doesn't come easy without you trying different things, seeing what works, and forgiving yourself and giving yourself that grace that if this doesn't work, okay, we just scrap that idea, move on to the next one. There's no blame, there's no whatever it is. We're keeping positive and we're just going to try different things until we find something that works for us because we are important to us.
Absolutely. I love that response. How do people get in touch with you, and who is your ideal client?
So, any woman, especially those in the corporate world or still working, because it will affect work as well. But any woman who's having a challenge with menopausal symptoms, not getting responses from their doctors, not getting the type of support they think they deserve, and I think we all deserve that sort of support. And whether you're on hormone replacement therapy or not, hormone replacement therapy works better if your lifestyle changes. So if you're doing better diets, if you're some sort of physical activity, if your mindset is there as well, because where the mind goes, the body follows. We work on all of those things, and then the hormone replacement therapy actually works better if you take care of those. So nutrition is your foundation, and we build on it. But if anyone listening on the live or the replay, you need to contact me. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn probably too much, but send me a DM, or if you go to my profile, you have contact information there. Or you could leave a comment on this live show, whatever is easiest. And let's just have a conversation. I heard it's a free clarity call to figure out what works for you, because sometimes it could be as simple as you're not getting enough nutrients, you're not getting enough vitamin D or something. And if you raise those, or I send you to get it checked, things ease up. So it could be as simple as that, or we need to do a little more coaching because symptoms can't go just like that.
And you're coaching over like a Zoom call or a video
Yeah,
call, and you can
Zoom,
do it
WhatsApp.
globally.
Yeah. I think the pandemic taught us that we are a Zoom call away from each other.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. I mean, the
Yeah.
pandemic wasn't wonderful,
Yeah,
but
but I think that's the one good thing that came out of it, that we are more connected than we thought. So yeah, a Zoom
say
call,
that one
whatever
more
is,
time, because I think we need to really remember that we
yeah,
are
we're more
more
connected.
connected than we
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
Yeah. So, what questions do you have for me before I let you go? You don't have to have a question. I just just put you on the spot.
No, I love what you do. I love what you do for the community. So I just
What?
wanted to hello.
I'm a mess.
I saw what Christy did for you. Nobody gives a person that amount of love if you're not giving it back. And I
Oh,
see your shows. I'm on your shows every time. I mean, you have lots of shows for different people. You celebrate different people. So yeah, just continue doing what you're doing. It's
I
a
appreciate
spirit.
that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I will have a show tonight at 10 o'clock. I'm going to make it right after this. So my Williams wind down will be Sunday night at 10, Monday and Wednesday. Lisa
Yeah.
Feveck. I don't know why I always want to say Feveck. I I put an
Most
R
people
in
I've had many things. Fabric is the least. uh,
it.
yeah, but that's okay. You pronounced
And
it right the first time.
thank you. Let's take a look real quick. Thank you all for the great insight. Christy has been 100% saying that you're her go-to person. Linda
Uh,
Meyer has also said that you're her go-to person.
Thank you
Uh,
all.
let's see. Melanie Richards said hi.
Hey Mel.
Leanna said, I had ice cream to my coffee when I left my ex-husband. I needed to gain weight. I never
That
dropped
probably
that.
tastes so delicious.
I did that. Actually, it does sound good. Ice cream to my
Yeah.
coffee. Um, Linda Meyer loves Plant Forward. Hello, my internet connection is poor, unstable, but I'm happy to be
Yeah.
here. We're happy to have you, Clarissa.
Yes.
Let's see. Christy is all over YouTube. Noni says hello. Linda
Hi
Meyer
Noni.
says I was dismissed by my doctor.
Hmm.
I found someone else, and tests were required immediately. Finding the right person helps tremendously. I still
Yeah.
navigate through menopause, but the point is I was acknowledged. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
When you know your body better than anybody else.
Yes.
And when you tell someone something's wrong and
Hmm.
they dismiss it like, okay, just
Yeah.
take a Tylenol. It
Yeah. For
it
most women, once they get a diagnosis, a proper diagnosis, it relieves so much stress. Because it's like, okay, finally you see me, you understand what I'm going through, and I have a name for what I'm going through.
yeah. There was a God, I don't I'm such a squirrel. There was a Golden Girls episode about that. Did you ever watch the Golden
Yes,
Girls?
I saw that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, back then, so they knew about menopause, but they thought it was an old lady disease, not
Yeah.
realizing that I think the research needs to change. Most women start in their 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was surprised about that because I know that most women uh they lose the amount of eggs, I believe, or their
Yeah.
ability to get pregnant starts
Yeah.
to decline after about 32. That's what I hear. But really it
So
starts at
you
30.
are born with the amount of eggs you'll ever have, and then you lose from puberty onwards.
That's so interesting because also weren't you born with the eggs that your grandmother had too? There's this whole like link chain thing
Um,
that they told me like women have the eggs are kind
there
of passed down.
there is a genetic aspect to how many eggs you have and what sort of um, life cycle you'll experience. I don't know if it's exactly, I've heard it, but I don't think that's true. But
I
there
have to
is
look it
something
up.
to do with your genetic line and what sort of health conditions you'll experience, what sort of pregnancy you'll have. It's not hard and fast because my mom started with hot flashes. I started hot flashes. I'm now starting with the hot flashes. When I started in my 30s, I never had it, so I didn't know it was menopause, right? So every
So
woman's journey is different.
what age did you start the hot flash? And normally that's when most people think, oh, I'm in menopause.
So I started either last year or year before. So what's that? 47, 48.
Okay.
But I started in my 30s. So from then on, there were no hot flashes experienced in my perimenopause stage. But for most women, they start with hot flashes in perimenopause.
Got you.
Yeah.
Lisa, I really, really thank you for coming on. This has been a joy. I see you all over the place. And I just so that you know, I I was like, well, what are we going to talk about? So because I don't have menopause. And then I started listening to what you were talking about, and I learned about the male menopause.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to Christiana about the struggles with um, losing a child
Yeah.
and how that affects the woman, but it also affects the man.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it just started opening me up to different conversations. And I am a firm believer. I told you this backstage. I
Mhm.
want to learn. So I'm not, well, I'm selling a book right now, y'all. First time.
Ah,
But
congrats.
thank you. I'm not selling anything. I'm really,
Mm.
I want to meet people and I want to ask the questions that I have of the experts because someone else is thinking the same thing,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they just don't know how to ask it.
Yeah.
So I salute you. I thank you. Everybody out there, I will see you at 10 o'clock tonight. Lisa, any final statements?
No, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep celebrating different people because we all learn from each other like this. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
I love everybody out there. Remember, the outro starts as a dream sequence. I'll talk to you later, Lisa. Have a good
Okay,
night.
take care. Bye bye.
the lights up. Let the mirror balls spin. They told me not to look, so I looked again. Turn the lights up. Turn the lights up. Let the mirror balls spin. They told me not to look, so I looked again. He came in smooth with a velvet grin, wearing borrowed power like a second skin. Everybody whispered, everybody moved, but the floor kept shining and the bass line proved. He was not the darkness, he was not the night. He was just a shadow running from the light. I saw him in the corner trying to play it cool, but fear looks funny when it breaks its own rule. He said, don't dance. I said, too late. He said, stay scared. I said, checkmate. He said, I own you. I said, not me. Then the whole room turned and we started to see mirror ball boogeyman spinning in the light. Mirror ball boogeyman, you don't own tonight. You were tall in the dark, but small on the floor. Mirror ball boogeyman, we don't run no more. Boogeyman, under the lights. Boogeyman, not tonight. Tonight. Maybe he's a rumor dressed in gold. Maybe he's a story we were always told. Maybe he's a warning with a pretty face. Maybe he's the pressure trying to take up space. Maybe he's the boss man counting every move. Maybe he's the old fear trying to kill the groove. Maybe he's the voice that says don't try, but the truth walked in with platform shoes on high. He said, don't shine. I said, watch me. He said, you'll fall. I said, we'll see. He said, I made you. I said, you lied. Then the strings came in and the room replied. Mirror ball boogeyman spinning in the light. Mirror ball boogeyman, you don't own tonight. You were tall in the dark, but small on the floor. Mirror ball boogeyman, we don't run no more. Boogeyman, under the lights. Boogeyman, not tonight. Under the bed, nothing there. Inside the closet, empty air. Behind the curtain, just a name. Fear wore sequins and played the game. But when the rhythm hit the truth, the lie got loose. The lie got loose. Who made him big? We did, we did. Who made him loud? Who turned the light? We did, we did. Who owns tonight? We do, we do. Mirror ball boogeyman spinning in the light. Mirror ball boogeyman, you don't own tonight. You were tall in the dark, but small on the floor. Mirror ball boogeyman, we don't run no more. Mirror ball boogeyman, take your final bow. Mirror ball boogeyman, we can see you now. Boogeyman, under the lights. Boogeyman, not tonight. Shine on the fear, shine on the light, shine on the shadow till the shadow runs dry. Move with the truth, step with the plan, dance right past the boogeyman. Mirror ball, boogeyman falls when the people stand tall. Mirror ball, we saw the strings. Now he don't scare us at all.